And we're back. Welcome, everybody. So this next video, we're going to discuss about DJs, producers, combination of both, who are still struggling to get gigs. Maybe you watched my last video about interacting with promoters. If you haven't yet, then I would probably go to that one before this video, and it might solve your problems. But if you did, if you watched that and you've taken it to heart and you've applied that stuff, and you're just still not getting the responses from promoters, or not getting the gigs, then we're gonna dive into some next steps on how to resolve this, right? So first and foremost, like, what could the problem be, right? Naturally, I would say if you followed everything in the last video and you're not getting the reactions, then one of two things: maybe musically you just don't align with the promoters you're reaching out to. And often I find that DJs or producers in their head, that their sound or their music might fit with a certain promoter or label. And when I hear it, I hear the exact opposite. So I think you need to be a very strict critic of yourself so you can really figure out where you belong and where your place is in this industry. And if there is no place for that, then I'm going to address how to resolve that as well. And then the other one is probably the harder pill to swallow, which is maybe you're uncomfortable, awkward, weird, unlikable, um, and people aren't vibing with that. And yeah, I don't really know how you resolve this one, but I think it's also just a self awareness thing. Figure out what that is, and try to navigate and pivot that. Believe it or not, I was in middle school and high school. I was probably the shyest person in the world, and if you would have told me that I would be in this industry and I would be very outspoken and I would be doing stuff like this that I'm doing right now in this exact moment, I would have just never believed it. And I think any of my friends who knew me in those years would probably say the same. So there's a lot of things, confidence building and public speaking, and there's tons of content on YouTube and books and things that can help you resolve the way you interact with people. I would take both of these things at heart. These two are most likely the real problem to why things just aren't connecting in your local market, right? So if it's not problem number two, which is like a personality thing, I mean, again, the easiest way to solve that is to first recognize it, recognize where those flaws are. And then, like I said, there's lots of books, self-confidence books, help books, public speaking books, YouTube videos. Just maybe deep dive on that stuff for a while, body language books and content, and try to get into that, and just try to evolve yourself. And the best way to evolve your personality, and how I got out of my shyness, was I just constantly put myself in scenarios that I would prefer to avoid, and just over time you get better. And just like these videos, I'm sure going back from, this is like the fifth or sixth video. I'm sure if you go back to our first video, now I feel a little bit more natural, and I think on my 100th video, I'm gonna look like a beast, probably recording these things, just because the more you do anything and the more uncomfortable you put yourself, the more comfortable you get with that situation. So that's what I'd recommend there. Problem number one: maybe your music doesn't align with the promoters in your market. Maybe a promoter or a venue doesn't exist for that, or for whatever reason, maybe just people aren't connecting with the idea that you are as good as you think you are. Then what I would do if I was in your situation, I would hunt down a bar or a club or a venue that's struggling, and I mean like really struggling. I would approach the manager and I would be like, "Hey, I'm an aspiring artist. I'm here in this scene. I know everybody. I party with everybody. I have a dope following. Let me take on one of your slow nights. I don't think you have anything to lose. I'm gonna outperform it and I'm gonna grow it, and this is your opportunity to create your own brand, find other DJs and talents that fit your style, put them around you so they all elevate you as the headliner, and build your night, build your brand, come up with a name, Maybe one day that's the future name or brand to something bigger. Maybe it'll change. I went through like 5 names before I got to humans alike. Um, and do it. And if you build it and you succeed, you're gonna make some money doing that. You're gonna build your reputation. All those promoters that overlooked you are gonna start reaching out because they're gonna see that you're generating you have a fan base, you have a following, you're doing something right, you have business acumen, and they're gonna put you on lineups. And if your party outgrows this little tiny small bar, bigger venues are gonna reach out to you to move your event there. I mean, even to this day, all my existing events, nonstop does every venue in the area reach out to me, offering me pretty much any deal I can imagine to move my existing events. And sometimes those deals, are interesting enough to have the conversation. Most of the time, if I'm happy with the venue I'm at and it's making me what I want to make and I like the management and I like the owners and the party's just overall working, sometimes I just don't want to move it because when something works here, it doesn't always mean it's going to work there. So why mess up a good thing? But in other situations, I've had great parties and the management and the ownership over time press to change things, and little by little, I felt uncomfortable in that situation, and then but because I built myself up as this reputable promoter, and I've seen DJs do the same thing, they built their own parties and they built it up. Once the situation turns in a way that you're not happy anymore, you've built up this tangible, valuable, like, money-making machine, and you're able to move it wherever you want if you're unhappy. That's naturally the first thing I would tell you to do if stuff just isn't working out. And then within all that, within developing your party, and maybe it sucks for a little bit, but over time you put in the hard work and it gets better. Within that, what you learn and what you acquire are business skills, budgeting, negotiating, how to promote, how to market, how to network, how to manage an event, how to be creative, how to collect data and to use that data efficiently to make your events better. And all this stuff will help your artist career as well. All these skill sets of creating an event, you will be able to apply that to when you release music or when you're playing at other gigs around the world. You will have an edge over your peers because you know how to pack out a room. And that experience, the perspective, all that stuff will just make you stronger. And once you do it and you see how hard it is, you're not even going to be mad at all those promoters that overlooked you earlier because you're going to understand why. Because you're going to book other DJs on your own party and you're going to start making the same types of decisions that that promoter made on you. And you're going to overlook some DJ because you're also trying to make your event most successful based on your own opinions, right? Right or wrong, you're still doing something that you think is best for you. Even if maybe you're overlooking someone that could have been valuable, you're just trying to make the best decision every day for it to be as successful as possible, right? And that's really it. I mean, like, look, if it's not happening, take it in your own hands. There's venues out there in every market that are struggling. There's opportunities to be had. If someone's not going to give you the opportunities, create them yourself. We've all done it. I felt overlooked many times in my life, and I went and I started Humans Alike. I went to a venue that was struggling. We crushed it for a year. And then, because of that success, the Heart nightclub opportunity presented itself. And then that opportunity and the creation of Humans Alike changed my life forever, right? And I've seen the same thing happen with many DJs. Um, I'm not gonna call out DJs and put I don't know if they want me to put their stories on blast, but, I've seen a lot go really well and really bad, but at the end of the day, just like in the other videos, if you have ruthless hard work and execution, you don't need to wait on anybody else to make things happen for you. You can take your career in your own hands. As I said before, time in this business will go by fast, and before you know it, 3, 4, 5 years zip by and you might feel like you've accomplished nothing. So, as I've always said, the time is now. Hard work pays off. You're going to make additional revenue by doing this. That revenue is going to help you're going to be able to put some of that event revenue you make if you're successful into marketing your music, and you're just going to show the world that you are above these other DJs that aren't doing these things. So to sign off, as always, if you disagree with something, leave it below in the comments. I'll write my response to that as soon as I can. If you like this video, if you found value, I hope you apply it. I wish you luck. As always, tell me your success stories when they happen. And in the meantime, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. The growth keeps this thing going. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next video.